I'm Mike Barham. I'm the Customer Service Manager here at Galco Gun Leather.
And I'm Dave Starin, Account Representative at Galco.
Dave, one of the common questions we get here at Galco is when a customer's first got his belt holster, he's trying it out and the gun is maybe sticking or catching or grabbing a little bit as he's going to draw from his new belt holster. Now, you have well over 20 years experience as a Gunsite instructor and rangemaster. Can you talk to us a little bit about the common errors, the kind of operator errors you would see at Gunsite that would influence that kind of issue when it comes to drawing from a belt holster?
Yeah, absolutely, be glad to. Most of the time it's going to be an improper technique that's causing people to have problems getting the pistol out of the holster. If we address some of these common mistakes and common errors, eliminate those, we can develop a nice, safe, and efficient draw stroke. Some of the most common errors we see are people failing to get a good grip before they begin trying to pull the pistol out. It's imperative that your grip is correct before you ever start to bring the pistol out of the holster. Failing to get that proper grip right from the beginning, if your grip's not right from the start, everything's downhill from there. So we got to get that grip established before we start to come out of the holster. Chicken winging, where this elbow starts to kind of come forward, very common. What that's going to do is it's going to add a little torque and some tension between the pistol and the holster, and of course that's going to increase the difficulty in getting it to come out of the holster. Bowling, people in a big hurry to try to hurry up, get the pistol downrange onto target. They do what we call kind of a bowling motion as it comes up. Again, it's very much going to decrease the efficiency of the draw stroke. And then the next one, the fourth one, is a casting motion, where they bring the pistol kind of out and they sort of cast it downrange towards the target. If we eliminate those things, we'll start developing a nice, safe, efficient draw stroke.
That's great. Can you give us a physical demonstration with a gun and a holster and show us the right way and the wrong way to do that?
Yeah, you bet. Be glad to.
Awesome.
Before we get into the mechanics of the draw stroke, it's imperative that we cover the 4 safety rules, that all guns are always loaded until you have personally verified that they are not before you begin any type of practice. Never let the muzzle cover anything you are not willing to destroy. This includes during practice sessions. Always keep your finger off the trigger, straight up on the frame until your sights are on target and you've made the decision that you are going to shoot. And number 4, always be sure of your target. Make sure you understand what your target is, what's beyond it, and what may come between you and your target. Those 4 things are imperative and should be in place all the time, whether you're shooting or you're just doing practice. All right, for this, first thing we're going to do, rule 1, I'm going to verify the gun is unloaded. I'm going to remove the magazine, the source of ammunition. I'm going to lock the slide to the rear, and then I'm going to use both my eyes and my sense of touch to verify that the gun is unloaded before we begin. I have now made sure that the gun is unloaded. In addition to that, I want to make sure that there's no live ammunition on my person or anywhere near me. I want it in a separate room before I begin doing any kind of dry practice. For this, I'm going to use an Avenger holster. This is an open top, neutral cant holster. It's one of our best sellers, and it happens to be one of my personal favorites. I'm also using a gun very dear to me, a Kimber 1911. Kimber 1911's got a manual thumb safety. We'll discuss the operation of that thumb safety as we go through the draw strokes. We're going to break this down into 5 simple steps for you guys to make it a little bit easier to learn the technique. We'll break it down into count 1, which is your grip. Count 2, clearing the pistol from the holster. Count 3, rotating the muzzle so that it's orientated towards our target. 4, that's going to be smack. That's where our hands come together close to our body as we begin to build that 2-hand grip. And 5, look, that's the transition as the pistol comes out and we start looking for that front sight. All right, breaking it down into those 5 steps. Count 1, a lot of stuff happening on count 1. On count 1, I need to establish my grip. That's high up on the back strap of the pistol. I get my hand as high as it will go. I get my fingers curled under there with my middle finger up underneath the trigger guard and wrapped around the grip fully. My trigger finger is placed so that as the pistol comes out of the holster, it is not in or near the trigger or trigger guard area. And if I've got a thumb safety, etc., my thumb is properly placed to address that. My support hand comes center line. This is going to help put it in the right position to build that 2-hand grip right from the beginning, and it keeps it out of the way so I don't inadvertently muzzle myself or have it do anything that causes a distraction to my draw stroke. So on this 1 count, all this stuff happens right here. You'll notice my elbow's back behind my body. If I let it chicken wing, you'll find that it starts to build torque and tension between the pistol and the holster, and it's going to make it very difficult for you to clear the pistol out of the holster. So on this 1 count, everything happens, everything's established here. The 2 count, clear, straight up. All I'm doing is bringing the pistol straight up out of the holster. It's not moving anywhere. I'm not orientating the muzzle anywhere except right above the top of the holster. Count 3, this is rotate. This is where we drop the elbow, rotate at the shoulder joint, and bring the muzzle towards our target. It's kind of perpendicular to the ground. It's ready to start driving in a straight line from this position to my intended target. Smack. My hands smack together right here close to my body, close to the center line, and from here, I drive the pistol straight out. Right here, you might hear a click. That's right at the end of the draw stroke as my sights are starting to light up and I disengage the manual safety on a 1911. Now, once my sights are where I want them to be, my finger can go to the trigger, I can take my shot. After my shot, I'm done shooting. I want to safely return to the holster. That's done by first, finger comes off the trigger, high up on the frame, re-engaging any safety I may have, like the one on this 1911, and I'm going to reverse the draw stroke right back to the holster in the same manner I brought it out. It's going to come back, my hands will be close together, I'm going to rotate at the shoulder, I'm going to get the pistol above the holster, finger still straight. At this point, if you want to take a glance, make sure there's no clothing or other obstructions in the way of your holster. Simply goes back in, eyes go back up. It's really important that we know we don't have any hurry to get back to the holster. Sometimes as we begin practicing and we begin doing our drills and we try to come out and get that first shot or those shots out as quick as we can, we have a tendency to want to rush back to the holster. There's never a need to rush back to the holster, and doing so is actually inefficient and oftentimes unsafe. You don't go back to the holster until you're happy with everything and your environment and everything's the way you want it to. Carefully reverse that draw stroke back into the holster, being very aware of your finger. All safeties are engaged. Take a glance down if you need to. Sometimes clothing or other things can get in the way. We want to avoid any kind of tragedies during our practice. Couple points if you choose a different style holster such as this Fletch. You'll notice that this is a forward cant holster. It has the pistol sit slightly forward, which aids in concealment. That way the butt's not sticking out as much. If you want to wear it under a shirt or jacket, etc., it's going to help you hide the pistol better with this forward cant. It's also got a retention strap on it. It's got a thumb brake snap style strap on it. We need to talk about how do I unsnap the holster during my presentation and how do I return the pistol to the holster with the strap in the way, because it's a little bit different than the open top. On the grip, we're just going to get our hand in position just like we always do. What we want to do now is drive the thumb down in there like a wedge. We don't want to just push on the snap. We're going to drive it down in there. It's going to help seat our hand and get our hand in position just like it is anyway. You'll note on the forward cant that my wrist has got a little bit more break to it than on a neutral cant holster. When I come out, I still want to come out as straight up as I possibly can. I still want to bring this straight. I'm going to go through the other similar steps of my draw stroke. Coming back to the holster, we've got that strap now that we need to be aware of. So as I come back, same way I did before, I just want to make sure that I've got the muzzle behind that strap, ease it down into the holster, then I can snap the retention device. All right, let's address some of the common errors that we see that we mentioned at the beginning of the video. Failing to obtain a proper grip. Right from the start, if I don't get my hand up where it's supposed to be and it's down too low or anything's not right, as the pistol comes out, I'm either going to be unsafe with my finger near the trigger, or as I'm trying to fumble it and get it corrected, it's either going to cause an unintended discharge or it's going to really slow the whole process down. So we got to establish that grip right from the beginning. The importance of the support hand getting into place is paramount. If I let it just hang and I try to bring the pistol out, now everything comes together here. I'm not building it right from the beginning. Chicken winging. This is a big one. This is the most common cause of difficulty getting the pistol out of the holster. If this elbow starts to roll forward, it's going to bind and cause it to hang up. I need to have that elbow back so I get that nice smooth up out of the holster. Bowling. Bowling is when we bring the pistol up and then we try to bowl it, a bowling motion towards the target. That's going to be inefficient. It's going to cost us a lot of time, which usually results in us rushing a shot. I want to bring it up, rotate it, drive it straight towards my target. And the other one that we mentioned was casting or fly fishing, where I bring it out and I kind of do a casting motion. That makes it very difficult to pick up the sight. It's much, much more efficient to rotate it and drive it in a straight line where I'm already looking than it is to cast it out there and then try to find my sights. If you avoid those common errors, you're going to find that you're developing a much safer, much more efficient draw stroke.
Well, thanks for doing that great demo, Dave. I think you really did a nice job of covering the common errors and the correct way to perform that draw stroke.
Thanks, Mike. It was my pleasure to be able to do it. One thing I want to close out with is the importance of safe practice and perfect practice. I implore everybody to go out and practice these techniques, but please first do it with an unloaded gun until you feel very comfortable and you've got the steps of the draw stroke down. Then when you go to the range to do your live fire, start out slowly. Make sure that you're doing everything precisely and perfectly, and in no time you will find that you've got a safe, efficient draw stroke that's getting you from holster to target in a much quicker way.
And that's what we're aiming for, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Dave.